Okay, Luigi, copy of pundits. We're not doing colour today. The colour machine's in the IT room and it's very busy. So I don't particularly want to cause a disruption. So this is the HJ Daily Library out of Campbelltown. Cheap photocopies in colour, but we're not going to go in the... This is the black and white machine. It's a bit expensive for me now anyway, so I've got some black and white work to do. But we're getting the Toshiba machines very soon. And these will be colour machine probably less than 2 weeks. So this model is, never used this one before, KYOCERA KM2560. Right. Today's photocopying task, or copier configuration task. I don't think I've done anything in black and white, so this is a very big different job, but it's easier. So this is what we're doing. Copying a transparency in paper copies of hand and chopsticks as an overlay in black and white. So I won't go get too detailed. You don't have much room on this hard drive. So there you have it. It's nice to do something different. And these copies are 10 cents a copy, which is really nice. So we've got to make these. A bit tricky working with transparencies. But this machine, well, what'll happen to it? It'll probably either be cyber trashed or reconditioned. I don't know. Hopefully it won't end up as electronic waste, as a lot of them do. Well, I don't know the exact quantity, but we know that electronic waste doesn't get recycled a lot across the board, whether it's computers or phones. They don't mention copier MFDs, so these are quite big chunks of electronic waste, but just don't know in this day and age. But that's not the issue now. The issue is we're going to have a bit of fun. We're not going to get too serious about these heavy technical, or well, whatever. Try to get these things to line up a bit. So it's nice and quiet here. There's not too many people, and there's not a reflective mirror door where I can accidentally reflect, because there's a lot of people in the IT room. So this thing makes a lot of noise. Whoa, not now. Right, now this will be an interesting task. All right. Got a preview as well. Whoa, it's amazing. Alright, so I've never done this before. I've never used this one before, but that's the fun bit. Right, original size, it's pretty standard. So I just bumped it. Oops, fat fingered it out of here. Okay, get back to where we went to go. So I'll make this fairly short. Alright, so standard size one. I think we just fat fingered it, but we're back in copy mode, so we're going to go A4 landscape, otherwise known typically as A4R to the industry people, or at least in the past it was. So they're basically roughly the same, but if you're not used to them, they're bleeding different. So here we go. This is really cool. This is a preview screen. I've seen these on Task Alpha. I think KYOCERA Meter or KYOCERA Task Alpha 2250 CI. Right, this was at the Sydney University, Luigi. But anyway, but no, it actually hasn't shown the preview, but it'd be interesting to see what it does. So this you don't see very often. And there you have it. See, wouldn't it be good if all copiers had this? So that's the original. Show you roughly where you put it, but I think thumbnail, they shouldn't be thumbnails, they should actually be a big screen, like a big display, a big user interface. But companies, well, again, all due respect, I'm not slanging off the companies, it's just true of everything in this world. You know, some people have said in the industry blogs, the boxes are just a commodity, like everything else. But we're going to try and change that peacefully one day. Right, so we've just done a nice little preview. Isn't that fascinating? Ew. Questioning whether I should move it over a bit. Wow, It's a spin. So I'm going to try and take advantage of this feature, because I've got a bit of a white strip on the transparency, regretfully saying. So work out what side's what, because basically, just because you've got a preview, yep, it's sort of, that's the head of it's the opposite. It might be, so that's the head. Head of the document's that way, but the head of the document on the glass is that way, which makes it a little bit awkward. So that must mean, therefore, that, yeah, that's the strip. We've got to try and move that out a bit more. A little bit of sticky tape, it'll make the job a lot easier. Try and work this out. Ooh. Good to have a whole bunch of these in the home. So now we'll try that again. Now this is what's so good about preview. It's only a primitive little preview display. So it says change setting, but we don't want that. So we'll go again. Okay, let's try again. Preview, preview, preview. Here we go. Create an image. Bang. Right. Well, again with photocopier art, what's so good about it is it gives your images a handmade look, a little bit of a humanised look. You can't, well, you can do it with Photoshop, I suppose, but don't quote me, I don't know much about Photoshop. But suffice to say, it takes out a lot of the, and you've also got EcoPrint, which uses less toner, and that'd be a fun thing to experiment with too. Layout. Okay, what do we got? Ding, ding, ding. Oh, we got an overlay function. Whoa, we've got to try that out. Oh, yeah. We might try that out. See how it goes. But we'll just do something simple to start with. Advanced setup. What do we got? Mirror image, negative image, blah-de-da-de-da. So this just demonstrates that even a black and white machine is very complicated. Ooh, okay. Now let's see, we've got image quality, we've got density. This sucker doesn't have much latitude here. So press the start key to start printing, da-de-da, and then you've got to go into change settings, which is a real interesting part. But this is good because it'll obviously show up on the preview. And then of course this thing's got fractionals too. This is amazing. I'll close that. So I'm going to press OK. It's going to display the image. So we've just changed. So the density is on normal. So we'll see what happens if we... Actually, I think our density is quite good according to this. So we'll just leave it at that. And I'll just make a copy. Actually used up too much stuff on the hard drive. Gets a bit lonely not having a friend and a husband, so my whole life's tied up in cyberspace at the moment, and photocopiers and whatever else I can do. Alright, so this is what we've got, is this image. Of course, I've moved it over too far to the left, but I'm sure we can do something with this. We could probably not go into too much, but that's copy one. Okay, we're going to do the same job again. We're going to do it the same way. What I forgot to mention, what I overlooked, we do have some control. We have, as usual, we got the original type, but we've left it on default. That was alright. It's in the notes, text photo default. These are all left as is. I think auto paper selection was okay because we selected our original size. So we have to set the sucker up again because it's defaulted, so it's all okay there. Just go back to original size. And I'm having to do a form overlay, which I've never done on this particular one, but I've done it before. I had these similar things at Sydney Uni, but won't get too much into it because I don't have much room on this silly hard drive on this phone. So the density remains at default because it worked really well. Original image, what the thing is this? Let's have a look at that. The best, oh, of course, it's like a shortcut. I've already got that in the front. Okay. It's like that, okay. layout edit, this is what we want to do. So copy 1, we're just going to do the same like we did with copy 1, except basically we've got to now set this up for a form overlay. So we're going to try and see, we'll write that down. So what we want to do is take the image that's on the glass, we won't worry about taking it off, and we want to take the first copy, which is on the glass, overlay contents, the first page. So what we have to do now is, I've never done it, I've done this years ago on another one that used to be at Sydney Uni before the ones I mentioned earlier. So scan the new form, and this is obviously how heavy it's going to be. So 10% density, so try and work out. So we might call it, because basically what we've got to do is try and put these Japanese characters as underneath what we have on the glass. And Japanese is of course a synonymous with copiers, so it really rocks with me. So I'll try, I think we'll try, don't know whether to make it 100% or 50%. I'll stick it at 50 and go, okay. So again, we're going to preview the sucker. See what it looks like, a layout. Hang on, it doesn't show it here. Pausing scanner. Oh, scan originals, overlap the form, place the originals. Press the start key. Dear me, never done this. See, you're not into copiers, mate. You're not going to enjoy this whatsoever. I haven't even noted it down in my notes either. So, executing print job, pausing. Okay, take off the glass. Let's drop my notes. Clumsy as putts. Okay, Luigi, you like that? Clumsy as putts. Okay. So just going to place our original a bit further from the edge. We're not using image shift. I mean, it's probably not compatible with this node. And we're going to see what happens then. Press the original, list the originals. And right, so now we have to do, press the start key. It's probably a bit like the BizHub C280. But this is different. So then you go press the start key to start printing, and there you go, it shows the overlay. There we are, look at that. Isn't this better? See, with the BizHub you don't have this facility, and with colour it'd be really cool. So now we're going to proceed to output our job, and looks like we've got a really good success here. I'm really happy with that so far from what I've seen, but the proof is when it hits the paper. So there we have it. In fact, that looks very good. That is beautiful actually. So sort of thinking, you think the hands should be more obvious, but then look at that. So this is a piece of rubbish I found on the ground, and it was just an inkjet print of some Japanese characters someone printed out. Hopefully there's no copyright rules. I just got binged for an accidental copyright infringement on YouTube, and I'm very disgusted with myself, Luigi. So I've got to be careful, but anyway, these are just something I found, and this is Japanese, someone's been teaching themselves Japanese, so basically, there we have it. Isn't that beautiful, hey? Alright, now I'll print another one, using the same setup as before, so hopefully I've documented the second copy, which is the overlay. I'm amazed at that pixelated result we got here. Now this machine's going to probably be cyber trashed in the next, well, couple of weeks, if that, so why don't we use it while we can? So it turns out that it was really good that we, blessing in disguise, that we now have access to this black and white, because colour machines don't normally have this roughness. So we're going to execute the same result. We know that this silly thing's gone. The power saver will just boot it up or warm it up. So basically, because the first one looks pixelated, what I'm thinking is we've got a negative image and we've got a positive image. And basically what happened is, these were done on the colour machine last time. Now this silly thing's not coming up. Oh, I just hit the on off button. I forgot, I should have pressed energy saver. See, even experts like me can get it wrong. Isn't it silly? So now the silly thing's got to warm up. Ooh. So I just can't believe it. goes to show they're not designed for everyday users. So if anyone has copy out issues, you know why. Even an expert, I mean, I can only just nav my way through it because I've used so many of them. So, right, so we have to hit energy saver. I mistaked that for energy saver. Isn't that silly? Isn't that funny? So we're just going to set it up again. So we had that pixelated result with the first image. So this will look good as a pixeled image, 50% density, and we'll print this nicely in full density, and hopefully it'll stand out from the background. Just thinking I might even have to minimize. There's nothing like printing a negative image on and a positive image in the same go. Done it on the Biz Hub C280, but it's not the same. That's why it's nice to use different ones. So we're going to start with a positive image. Just going to set the sucker up just as we did, according to my notes, to make it simplified. So we go, we'll just leave text, photo, original size, we'll just set it up A4R. Right, and we've got default density, we'll leave it at default. And I don't know, we'll just preview it just for the fun of it, just by default we'll preview it. It's quite a little novelty here. And there it is. It's our first copy, or our first scan. Right, but then we're going to go and we're going to get back into this mode. It's called form overlay. Now you've got to go be a bit robotic, and to change your settings, you have to basically hit this. Well, I think it might be because we just did a preview, but inexperience indeed. Just we having my own setup, Luigi would be good, because I could be copying my brains out all day as long as we don't have anything more important to do. So what we did last time, again, form overlay, we say scan new form, and then it takes up the little dialog box. Now I'm just curious as to whether we should drop the density further to make it stand. Well, actually I think we'll just stick it at 50. It's only 10 cents a copy, so it's not like we're totally blasting our budget out of the water. 50%, and we'll just say okay. It's funny, I don't think you have to press the preview button, but I did it anyway, so here goes. Scanning form. Right, scan original. So we have to do then is like before, we have to basically switch our originals over. So that's the first one. Now that should be scanned at a 50% density, and over the top will be our negative image. It's amazing what you can do with these functions. Adds more latitude. So then we're going to do what we do again. We hit the start button. And then you have to basically, there it is, it shows the roughly what it looks like. It's quite nice actually. And then all we have to do then is we hit the start key again. I know, Luigi, it's probably obvious, you probably know more about this type of equipment than I do, because this is my first time on this particular model. Oh, and there we have it. Isn't that fascinating? It's a very grey looking image, but it's quite, I don't know, I'm wondering if I should drop the density of the first image down a bit, but still it's a beautiful image. So you've got like a finer quality of the negative image contrasted with this really rasterized, I think that's what they call it, pixelated effect. Now that's really beautiful. Amazing stuff. Just curious as to whether I should pull down the black background further or not. I just thought of an alternative method to use. So we scanned the heavy image first, which was a positive image, and then we scanned the light looking image, which is a negative image. Now what say we scan this first using the same setup, and we scan this as the second image. We should hopefully get a positive image with a rasterized effect, and you know, this is like fun, hey? So we've got to go and set the thing up exactly the way we did, and we could use this as a color overlay original later for monocolor. So I think we're already in the system all set up still. I don't think we've, it looks like, no, we haven't lost our settings. Right. So we're just going to repeat the same process, but we're just changing the order of our originals. So we do it again, same old song, in a positive sense this time. That's it, original one. In this case, we'll reverse the order of originals. And now it's time for the second original. So it's good. We've got a nice little secluded area where there's not too much traffic, and then we've got a nice black and white machine with a function that, well, the second original. Hang on, what have I done? What is do scan the second, pausing scanner, executing print job. What are these silly copiers? They are such a silly thing. They are amazingly stupid for all that they're worth. For all I love them for, but now we go. Oh yeah, I didn't press the button properly. And the next stage is, well, it shows it here. It looks like a positive image. Okay. Hang on. Yes, it's the same settings. And I'm going to start again. So those who are not familiar with this kind of stuff, and I didn't press the start button properly. I think that was it. Out the upward tray, and we got an interesting effect. So what we have here is, it doesn't look too different, but then it is, because it looks like the background is like a solid, almost a beautiful solid velvety black toner, but the actual hand, the subject, has gone all pixelated, or it looks, I imagine the word rasterized is the best word, as I use this term in copiers. In fact, Xerox color copiers, like they call them ROS, raster output scanner. So you can see the beautiful detail in that. It's just exquisite, and a lot of people don't like things to look rough and distorted, but it is beautiful. Okay, we're going to up the ante again, and we're going to try something else more exciting. So what we're going to do now is essentially trying to decide what to do first, but we'll go with this one first again, and then that one second. So we're going to take both of these images that we just output, and we're going to mash them over again and see what happens. That's what we call see what happens, but analyze the results. It's a combination of inductive reasoning and analytical reasoning, and the silly thing has just defaulted. Oh, that is such a nuisance. So basically, I'll just shut that off. Okay, so we defaulted, so I just set the thing up again, and what we're going to start with again this time, we're going to take up a negative image, which we did, and that's going to again be our first image. So wondering whether I should drop the density, or maybe drop the density. We've got to add a little bit of a change to this. So we're going to image that first, and then same thing. So this is one thing good about you don't have with Photoshop is, well, you can, I guess, but I don't know enough about Photoshop. But compared with Photoshop, compared with this, is very sterile, or can be. But then my photocopier art can look very sterile too. And so we're going to go and say scan new form, and now we've got our density settings. Now what I'm proposing is, well, we've got a pretty heavy looking image there. Ooh. So now, so this will only affect the first image. So I think we'll call it 20%, and we're going to hit our start button. And all we have to do then is basically do the same thing. So we scan our form. That's what they call the form, I believe, the first one. And the second one is what goes over the top. But there's so many variants you can do. That's what we call permutations. Hey, it's a word. So now we put it down. Hit the start button again. There it comes. Hang on. Oh, I didn't bother previewing, but hopefully that, well, it's only 10 cents this time, or I'm not sure if it costs 2 for 1, but actually that didn't turn out as well as I was hoping, but maybe, I think we might have, I don't know, it's quite a nice image, but sometimes we up the ante a little bit hard, don't we? And it doesn't look as good. So basically, so that's the second generation of those 2 images. So that's the one we did the first gen, and the second one, but it's actually quite an interesting effect. But I think it's a tough one. I mean, look what is a transparency overlay, but I think we'll call it that particular job. I think we'll nip that one in the bud. Okay, I think we're going, well, I can't say it's the last one, but it's 2:27 and normally I'd be out of here by now because I'm getting a bit hungry. We all know the story of Luigi. I get very tired, my brain gets drained. But basically what we're going to attempt to do is, these are actually a copy of some Japanese written photocopying instructions someone took, did them at Officeworks, KYOCERA 3370, and we've got the transparency. Again, we did that yesterday. So complicated, mate. Won't bother with it. I just got to show how it's done, but I wish I had time. So what we tend to do is take this transparency that is done as, believe it or not, sort of like the original stuff we did with the chopsticks was done on the machine in the IT room, that one there, which I was going to use. So the one we did there, the transparency was done on the Fuji Xerox KYOCERA 2C2200. And what we're going to do is going to take these images and we're going to put this, and I'm putting this over the top manually with the transparency to give it that lovely bold look, and so it doesn't sort of blend out. And then pretty much the overlay will go over the top like that, and I think we'll do it at 100%. We don't want to fade everything out, so just have to set the machine up again. We'll write the notes down first. Alright guys, Luigi indeed. We're going to find this will be our last job to run, so I'm going to set it up again as we have the insert, as we set the silly thing up. Okay, for our next stage, image quality, density was a default. Okay, layout, edit. Now this is where we were. Form overlay. Scan new form. I'm going to make this 100% because we don't want to fade out we don't want to distort we don't want to lose the image now. So that our first image has already been set on the glass because I've had to basically physically try to register the transparency and the copy that we made here. So just trying to think. Display the image. So we'll do a preview. I didn't even preview this sucker. I love this preview function, it looks so cool. But it doesn't show up when you're doing this, which is a bit of a silly thing. Okay, so the next stage is, and hopefully we've got the registration of, be good if we had some removable sticky tape. It's probably working with his manual stuff, but it's, you know, it's like anything manual. It's like, you know, there's a bit of manual stuff is good. I mean, you don't have to. I don't have to be highly coordinated to do what I do. Work with photocopiers and other things like typing and all that. I can't draw, so this is a great substitute for drawing. So, if I remember correctly, we had head of our original up there. We want the characters to appear on the light side of the job. So it's probably about time I get out of this place soon. So the next stage is simply just to put this down, and I've got a gut feeling someone wants to use this machine. Okay. And hopefully we've got it right, it'll look really good. And we'll say goodbye and we've done this job. There it goes. Second image, Japanese copying instructions, and oh, look at that, it looks a bit out of register, but it's hard to tell with this tiny little thumbnail, but it looks quite good. It's nice to have to see that heavier image because we want to give it a little bit of extra oomph. I can't see the addition we put, but we'll try and see. It's only just it's only a little, the preview is just so tiny. The start button's a bit unresponsive sometimes. Ooh, so they got a little bit lost. Oh, we put them on the wrong side of the job. How annoying. So the copying instruction bits ended up, and it goes to show human error. Hey Luigi, but it would look a good image otherwise. Okay, maybe that was stereo blindness at play. Then sometimes it's hard to judge layouts like this, but anyway, we're going to just repeat what we've done. We've already set the machine up, so there's no point in displaying the image anyway, it doesn't matter. So we're just going to try that again. Same settings. I don't know if the preview does work on this sucker. Memory's not too good. Yeah, so basically, yeah, it doesn't show up. So now we just got to take it off, and hopefully our originals, the transparency and the copy one that we did, not the copy one we did first, but the second version, and then this one, we basically then have to put that up in the top at the end of the copier's platen. So over the top, stick it over, so down that goes, and hopefully we'll get the same kind of image, except print will appear on the faded outside. So let that unrip. There you go. So second image. It says create an image. Alright. Well, it looks promising. It looks like we can just make out the little characters at the edge at the bottom there, on that tiny little thumbnail. And then we think it might be okay. And for some reason it does that. And there's the memory. Oh, you just missed. Oh yeah, there it is. It's flashing. Yep, it doesn't use much RAM apparently. I think it uses 1% when it does that. It doesn't show up there though on the light flashes. But now it's a little bit hard to make out, but basically you can just see jumbled up with all the other Japanese characters. Copying instructions that we separately scanned on there. And you've got the nice little corner up there. So there you go, just to prove that it's there. It's very subtle. I'm not sure if I like it, but then, yeah, it sort of adds a little bit of a jumbled effect. It looks better than, I mean, there they are there too. We might even be able to use the two images in another job for added effect. So basically, just trying to think. So that's pretty much, I think that's our today's copy work for the day. So that's what we've done, is basically just executed the same settings. So, okay, Luigi, so I just made friends with another electric friend. There we are. Unfortunately, this poor little friend will, well, don't know whether it's going to be recycled, refurbished, whatever, scrapped parts, cyber trash. But anyway, there we have it. First dedicated black and white machine in our video set. Look forward to seeing you this Christmas. Goodbye.